Inform, we do something for Godin U.SA and cross again to paintings. It is a good one proper. There I am, GNA kick your butt Che. Can you threaten to kick me in a funnier manner from dominating Fact TV? Suggests for over 10 years to the darkish secrets hidden behind the Pawn Keep counter. Getting exposed, that is, the untold tale of Pawn Stars and Rick Harrison's confession, the own family-run commercial enterprise constructed at the expertise of the records of gold. And silver has currently been drowning in a series of controversial allegations. Scandals, complaints, and circle of relatives, betrayals threaten to give up if now, not permanently, taint their legacy with all that has been happening. Rick Harrison's empire has been pushed to the brink and may become falling what was as soon as a humble pawn save had led its proprietors to reputation greed and legal chaos. But wherein does their tale begin? A pawnshop empire constructed on expertise of gold and silver. On the center of all of it was Richard Oldman Harrison, the 77, 12 months old patrio who co-punted the pawn store in Las Vegas. His enjoy within the commercial enterprise, mixed with his non-nonsense mindset, made him a fan favorite and manifestly the one to name the shots. However, his demise in 2018 marked a turning point for the circle of relatives, both in my opinion and professionally. Rick Harrison, the brains in the back of the shop's TV achievement, knew from the start that pawning became about extra than just making quick sales related to it is we're given. To have a story each person loves, a tale I suggest like if you take any, without a doubt, expensive antique thing that sells at Christie's for $1 million. You are buying the tale. Proper. With a fundamental information of gold and silver, he built the gold and silver pawn store from the floor up, even though in the early days making earnings turned into hard often. Rick observed himself lending extra money than he was earning. Regardless, he driven via expanding his expertise and becoming a trusted name in the pawn industry. But the real sport changer got here in 2009. While Pawn Stars debuted at the Records Channel, the display accompanied Rick, his father, his son Corey Bigos Harrison, and Corey's friend Austin Chumley Russell as they interacted with the unusual and occasionally valuable gadgets introduced into the store. Clients brought all kinds of stuff, including uncommon comic books and artifacts believed to be from historical Egypt. For this reason, no day was ever the identical at the pawn shop. This became top as it stored the unpredictable and thrilling, except that the lovers loved the banter between Rick and his father as well as Chumley's goofy, kind of naive character. But as the display have become more famous, nasty business became going on behind the scenes. Rick Harrison's nasty legal struggle together with his mother, according to United States of America. These days, Rick's mother, Joanne Harrison, is suing his son in a dispute over own family property and the possession of the gold and silver pawn save. I had no idea. Due to the fact, like I stated, I had epilepsy, and back then there is no research on it or whatever, which you recognize so that you notion you had limitations. Oh no, I thought it had a definitely limited lifespan. Proper. However, it really is simply the top Joanne's legal professionals filed the civil lawsuit in Nevada Kingdom courtroom. The lawsuit names Rick Harrison, the gold and silver pawn shop enterprise entities, Harrison Houses, Joe Rick Homes, and others as defendants. The grievance cites a breach of settlement mentioning that Joanne became married to Rick's father for 58 years. However, whilst she was hospitalized inside the early 2000s just after she'd awoken from a coma, Rick had her sign her 51% hobby within the pawn shop over to him after knowing what she had executed or made to do. She fought lower back and sought justice via claiming that she didn't completely recognize what she was signing in her circumstance then. In 2018, while Richard died, Joanne was to inherit his 49% proportion of the pawn shop, but Rick hadn't supplied her with complete documentation of the business's budget. Because of this, Joanne alleged that she hadn't been capable of proper accounting for greater than $500,000 really worth of coins and silver. In keeping with her, the past due Richard accumulated the ones matters before his dying following this legal war. Rick's internet really worth become threatened, that is, due to the fact the lawsuit seeks unspecified damages and accounting of property, a court order banning Rick from using funds belonging to Joanne, and a positive accept as true with over property that belongs to her, speak me, to the Las Vegas Evaluate magazine. Rick claimed that the allegations were false and advised that his 81-year vintage mom turned into being manipulated with the aid of others for their non-public benefit. But that changed into no longer the most effective bomb that dropped on the family enterprise. According to the Each Day Mail in 2020, the gold and silver pawn shop, which commonly accumulates over $1 million yearly, simplest made $3,746 because of the COVID-19 pandemic. This hit him tough. However, the felony draw drama did no longer stop there. Rick's mother went ahead and filed a restraining order. According to the Day-by-Day Mail, Joanne's brief restraining order against pawn superstars Rick was to save him from promoting off the circle of relatives' assets. In her protection, Joanne claimed that Rick had stopped sending her money from Richard's share of the business. At first, Rick had been giving her ordinary $225,000 bills, but stopped in 2020. Melancholy, you already know. One among the biggest signs of depression is being angry all the time. That is genuinely you, lack of hair, dude. You may have had menopause for like 10 years. You might be the longest acknowledged case of menopause for this reason. Joanne filed for a restraining order in an attempt to have that allowance reinstated through the courts. On top of that, the restraining order could additionally prevent Rick from transferring or concealing cash property or appearing every other movements that could decrease Joanne's interest in the family's enterprise. Moreover, the guide additionally suggested that Joanne become by then 81 years antique and suffered from many fitness problems that required 24-hour care and supervision, which could value up to $115,000 a month. What greatly surprised Rick that he determined out approximately the restraining order request through information reviews and not without delay from Joanne following this incident. Rick claimed to have tried to attain her numerous instances for numerous months, but could not attain her, making it tougher for him to barter higher phrases, so that everyone not to go domestic happy, even though they wouldn't pass back to the identical domestic. But this was not the simplest legal warfare a member of this own family, or at the least a chum, was going through Chumley's felony issues. Austin Chumley Russell is clearly one of the shadiest of the Pawn Stars. Solid as TMZ said in 2012, he became caught on digital camera brawling with a dude in Hollywood before fleeing the scene. The victim was left bruised and bleeding at the side of the street, but Chi insisted he acted in self-defense after the man threatened to pull a gun on him and his friends, consistent with Chumley instinct, simply took over, and the man regarded to no longer even recognize that Chumley was on television talking to TMZ. Chumley stated that the stranger just desired to trip of their vehicle and start troubles at the same time as he dodged a bullet with this one. There has been no excusing the scandal Chumley was approximately to locate himself in 4 years later. Consistent with the Chicago Tribune in 2016, Chumley landed in prison after being arrested on suspicion of 20 felonies. Nicely he virtually discovered something, let me say. You get extra out of a book, Rick. You want to binge argue. I don't want to binge argue. You guys flip it into arguments. No, you like to binge argue for sure. And that, I wager, certainly one of your 3 wives ought to agree with me after the arrest. Occurred after cops raided his house as a part of their investigation into sexual assault accusations that were made against him at some stage in the police raid. The officer gives allegedly located methamphetamine, marijuana, and at least 1 gun at Chumley's home in southwest Las Vegas, whilst Chumley wasn't booked on intercourse crime. Allegations officer Larry Hadfield, a branch spokesman, stated that a part of the investigation turned into because of a recent grievance by way of a woman, and that the officers have been doing the whole lot in their strength to get to the fact. However, in line with TMZ reviews, Chumley turned into the suspect inside the sexual assault case. The AP record cites Clark County Reformatory's report, announcing that Russell confronted 19 drug possession fees and 1 weapon rape. After some time, the sexual assault fees had been in the end cleared, but the damage had already been achieved, and he become not getting off the hook, that without difficulty Chumley confronted a brand new felony nightmare. Way 2, what changed into, uncovered throughout the raid. In line with TMZ, the police officers had seized a massive laundry list of narcotics, inclusive of weed, meth, and Xanax. On pinnacle of that, additionally, they observed traces of cocaine and 12 weapons, 8 of which were unregistered on count that he became compromised. Chumley, in the end, ceded a plea to escape a prison sentence. He pled responsible to a legal weapons fee, the unlawful possession of a firearm, and to a gross misdemeanor of attempted drug possession. He became in hot soup, but he became no longer the handiest one, Corey Harrison's wild night. And personal problems, Rick's son, Corey Bigos Harrison, also had his percentage of misadventures. Lack of hair. Dude, you would possibly have had menopause for like 10 years. You might be the longest known case of menopause recognized for his ambition to take over the shop someday. Corey confronted a difficult patch when reports surfaced of his wild conduct all through a stop on a motorbike excursion in Jeffersontown. Corey turned involved in an embarrassing incident at a bar. Called spectators, after what witnesses defined as every week of heavy drinking, Corey, taken aback purchasers by using urinating in public and throwing a bar stool, resulting in him being kicked out of the bar. This incident drew bad attention, though. Corey later expressed regret for his movements, issuing a public apology whilst he attempted as satisfactory to clear his reputation. The usage of his appeal extra trouble stored on following him. Corey came to return, making headlines once more in 2021 for all the wrong motives. In line with TMZ. Big Host rented an RV for a short holiday inside the California desert in 2020, but in accordance consistent with the automobile's owner, William V. Harrison, reputedly didn't return the RV at the agreed date, and in a single-piece Villana, claimed that Harrison's assistant called an afternoon later to mention they had been involved in a coincidence and had been going to have the RV towed back. However, it took any other 2 days before the absolutely wrecked automobile eventually arrived. In addition to the bodywork damage predicted from a crash, V alleged the RV's awning were ripped off and that its interior changed into littered with empty bottles and eggs, among other things. It sounds love it was one hell of a crash, consistent with TMZ VFA envisioned that the harm would cost as much as $30,000 to restore. Moreover, VFA alleged that he needed to cancel 10 reservations because of the vehicle country. He additionally claimed that Harrison refused to pay for the damages, forcing him to report a police report. Seeing the media interest this become drawing, Corey's consultant attempted to comb it off by way of pronouncing that Corey had rented the RV, the pop-outs wouldn't cross, lower back in, and it changed into now not drivable. This is the most effective assertion he made for TMZ. He insisted that Corey had the RV towed, returned to Las Vegas, and had insurance take care of it with his sources Corey controlled to legally get away the effects of the accusations. However, his public image became stained, and his prison problems have been the least of his issues in his personal life. Corey had to battle his weight, which had reached risky stages, made him to go through gastric bypass surgical procedure in 2010. The surgical treatment helped him lose over 100 lb, but the private stress persisted as Corey treated the pressures of fame, coping with the pawn shop and keeping a healthy way of life. His friendship with Chumley remained intact, and Chumley, stimulated by way of Corey, also started a weight reduction journey. At least he had his excellent instances, however. Trouble changed into a long way from over the scandal that shook the display's credibility, even as Rick, Chumley, and Corey were the stars of Pawn Stars. The display additionally relied heavily on specialists to offer credibility to the uncommon gadgets that got here through the doorways. These experts have become fan favorites of their personal property, in view that they provided distinct knowledge and history, approximately the whole thing that got here to them, from antique coins to uncommon autographs. But a number of those specialists introduced controversy with them, main fanatics, to question their reliability. One such expert, Johnny Jimenez Jr., recognized for his understanding in vintage toys, determined himself in felony hot water in 2015 after a domestic violence incident consistent with TMZ Johnny became caught on Digicam allegedly assaulting his lady friend out of doors. A Las Vegas eating place, an occasion that tarnished his image. Seeing this, Johnny defended his honor. by claiming that he became, trying to assist his intoxicated lady friend, circulate. After a night of partying and ingesting, however, the harm to his reputation changed into already finished any other expert whose allegations caused the grievance of the show become John Resnikoff. Resnikoff specialized in autograph authentication. He made a high-profile mistake in 2011 whilst he misidentified an autograph on a script from The Godfather. Resnikoff claimed the signature belonged to actor Al Pacino, although it changed into later discovered to be that of the producer Al Ruddy. Although the mistake became especially small, it made viewers question whether or not the professionals were as knowledgeable as they appeared to be, and if they had made a similar mistake or errors inside the past that had long gone overlooked. However, this was nothing compared to a 2015 scandal. The most important scandal regarding a Pawn Stars expert got here in 2015, while Drew Max, a sports memorabilia professional, was accused of fraud in New Jersey. He had authenticated fake sports activities objects, which had been later offered at auction. Shoppers who were deceived filed a lawsuit accusing Max of using his television to strengthen his reputation in the memorabilia. Global and, in the long run, this scandal severely damaged the credibility of the show, as lovers commenced to wonder how many different gadgets appraised on Pawn Stars were misrepresented, even as some concept that the arena have to cut them some slack on account that anyone makes mistakes. No longer lots of them got here in Max's protection, considering his mistake had cost a few human beings a number of cash, but what became the effect of these types of troubles as these scandals expanded? Pawn Stars commenced to shift its attention far away from its authentic idea. Initially, the show became a mix of history and enjoyment, with Rick and his group teaching visitors on the historic importance of the gadgets added into the shop. The show's allure lay in its unpredictability. In the future, a customer may stroll in with an unprecedented piece of military history, while the next might deliver in a quirky modern collectible. However, as time went on, the show began to experience more. Scripted reviews surfaced that dealers on the show have been pre-decided on, and that gadgets have been appraised in advance of time, doing away with the spontaneous nature that initially drew visitors in arguments between the cast assumed authentic, and often fun commenced to sense manufactured, with the focus transferring towards family drama instead of the precise objects introduced into the store, and the fans observed the whole lot. This shift toward degree drama made the show feel much less proper. Fans who had at the start tuned in to study history observed themselves watching a reality TV display that felt extra like preserving Up with the Kardashians than a sequence approximately pawning. Even the characters themselves started out to experience like caricatures. Rick, the strict deal-maker, Corey, the ambitious but often distracted son, and Chumley, the comedian Remedy, whose criminal problems made his on-screen character appear more and more out of touch with fact, as though the circle of relatives' drama, Chumley's legal issues, and the scandals surrounding the specialists were not enough. Pawn Stars additionally faced demanding situations in increasing its commercial enterprise ventures. Rick attempted to capitalize at the display's fulfillment by launching Pawn Plaza, a retail middle near the pawn shop that housed restaurants and shops. However, this mission became out to be a failure, with numerous agencies remaining due to lack of site visitors. The proprietors of those agencies later complained that Rick hadn't supplied enough advertising support. They had banked at the fame of Pawn Stars to herald clients, but the crowds never materialized. Many save proprietors blamed Rick for now not doing enough to sell the place, leading to numerous failed companies and a string of proceedings. However, they absolutely turn their viewers into enterprise customers while these battles have been happening within the present one of the casts beyond. Become about to show the bare fact about them. Olivia Black's axing over nude modeling some other. Scandal that rocked Pawn Stars involved Olivia Black, a former worker who joined the store in 2012. Olivia quickly have become a fan, favored because of her opportunity fashion and edgy character, but after only a short time on the display, Olivia became fired without explanation. The fanatics were given pissed and tried to find out what had led to her disappearance. Later, it became found out that her termination became tied to nude snapshots she had taken before becoming a member of Pawn Stars, and that the photos had surfaced online. This selection sparked controversy, with many fanatics criticizing the show's producers for what they saw as an unfair and sexist response. In spite of being a loud move from the display, Olivia Black maintained a sturdy fan following. She endured to paintings in the pawn enterprise off-screen, pursuing a profession as a model and adult entertainer. Olivia took felony motion, claiming her termination turned into unlawful, but the case turned into eventually dropped, and she moved on to awareness on her modeling career as the media interest shifted from the case of Olivia. Some other scandal hit the stolen coin collection, melting Thriller. By using this time, the Pawn Stars' solid participants are not any strangers to brushes with the regulation. In 2014, they observed themselves on the center of a felony war over again. This time it turned into for allegedly melting down a stolen antique coin collection, in step with ABC information in a criminal complaint filed at Clark County Justice Court. David Walters claimed his niece Jennifer Beckman stole his steeply paced coins in 2013, after which offered it to the gold and silver pawn keep. Walters claimed the haul Beckman added to gold and silver netted a total of $2,375. However, the agreed uncle claimed his series' real fee to be in the direction of $50,000. As quickly as Walters found out the coins were lacking, he straight away pronounced his niece to the government. But while the police officers contacted Gold and Silver Pawn, the coins had been already long gone. To the satisfactory of my expertise as the cash are unidentifiable, they may have been melted down. A spokesperson for the shop advised Fox News they had been sold. They will be in buckets like other cash, ready to be evaluated. The consultant went directly to dispute Walters' $50,000 valuation claim. These cash had been worth far less than the gentleman thought they had been worth, she said, before insisting none of the Pawn Stars solid had carried out anything incorrect or illegal. For getting the cash, the end of Pawn Stars, regardless of these scandals and controversies the show controlled to remain on air for over a decade. On top of that, the display maintained a strong following even as it shifted toward scripted content material and circle of relatives drama. However, by the point the 21st season rolled around, the magic of the early years had diminished and viewership had declined, notably with the mounting felony troubles in her own family conflicts and scandals surrounding its stars. Pawn Stars started to lose its authenticity. Rick, being a savvy businessman, focused his efforts someplace else, along with intellectual property and different ventures. Pawn Plaza may, additionally, not have been a resounding achievement. However, Rick's commercial enterprise acumen ensured that the gold and silver pawn keep remained a staple in Las Vegas. As for the destiny of Pawn Stars, whilst no reputable declaration has been made concerning its cancellation, the collection has grown to be a shadow of its former self. Its stars have confronted both private and professional challenges, and the as soon as dominant presence of the show at the History Channel has faded. Whether or not the show will go back remains to be seen, but one element is clear. Pawn Stars has left an unerasable mark on the arena of reality television, however. What approximately its legacy, a legacy tainted by way of scandal, yet nevertheless iconic. Pawn Stars had a completely unique effect on reality TV, reworking what became as soon as a Gap pawn store into a globally identified name. From its humble beginnings as a family-run enterprise to the multi-million doll franchise it became. Pawn Stars helped train viewers approximately history antiques, and the artwork of dealing the display's fulfillment highlighted the appeal of ordinary people in a setting full of unusual gadgets, wherein each transaction informed a story. However, as a great deal as Pawn Star has built a legacy, its downfall serves as a cautionary tale. Approximately the bad sides of reputation and the costs of maintaining a public personality, the scandals that surrounded its stars, the criminal disputes, and the controversies regarding appraisals all contributed to the sluggish tainting of the display's once untouchable image. Although it is able to in no way return to its former glory, Pawn Stars may be remembered as one of the most famous and influential reality television shows in records. In the end, Pawn Stars showcased the actual life challenges of jogging, a own family commercial enterprise set towards the backdrop of Las Vegas's ever-changing panorama. It offered each a glimpse into the sector of pawning and a mirror to the personal struggles of its stars, making it a complicated, multifaceted a part of television history. And at the same time as its future can be uncertain, its effect on popular culture will retain to resonate for future years.